Okay, this is going to be our first technique from Indonesian Silat. Silat is a system designed and focused for jungle fighting. It's a very enclosed system. I tell people that Silat is kind of the kung fu system of trapping, where Wing Chun is sort of the karate system of trapping. The reason for that is because Wing Chun is very linear. Everything is very straightforward as I do stuff, and Silat is very spherical. So the techniques that I would normally do come out of circles, and there's lots of hand undulation as I do things instead of being just straight on. So that's a good thing, and it's a bad thing. You have to really have both of those to have a full, a complete system of close range fighting. And then of course the joint manipulation aspects of those would come from Japanese Jiu-Jitsu or Korean Hapkido or one of the systems like that where you're working on grabbing and breaking. You'd also get a lot out of this particular range doing Muay Thai. So you've got your clinches, your elbows in close, your knees, headbutts, things like that. So for now we're working on our close range aspect of combat. And this particular system, Indonesian Silat, will be our focus for right now. All of the systems that we do with Ascension are blended together to give us a good idea of the range of combat more so than each individual isolated system. So this is our beginning to Ascension Silat. First thing that we'll do is our first Juru. Juru means upper body. So there's going to be a lot of hitting, a lot of punches, very few kicks in the beginning aspect of Silat. The reason for that is because again, in a jungle situation or in a very crowded situation, it's not like some of the kung fu systems, the northern Shaolin systems or Taekwondo or karate, where I can throw a big kick from a long fighting stance. I don't have a long fighting stance. My stance is going to be almost still. I can't move around very much. So the first 18 Jurus will come off of really no kicks, very little movement. You take one step, anchor yourself, and you go from there. The techniques are just from there. So this is Juru number 1. I'll start off in a cat stance. Right fist, left hand covers it. My fist is about nose high. My rear foot and then my lead foot will stomp. And this gets me ready for a lot of stomping techniques in the system. So I'm stomping on the foot. I'll step out almost like a karate front stance, but I'm going to be a little bit more sideways. I'm going to be a little bit deeper, and I'm going to be leveraged a little bit more in front. So I'll look like this from the side. It looks more like this. And you'll see the leverage aspect of what I'm doing later on in some of the techniques that we do. I'll do the same thing on the other side. That's Juru number 1. All of my odd number Jurus will start the exact same way. They will all start with Juru number 1. All of my even number Jurus will start the exact same way. They will start with Juru number 2. Here's Juru number 2. Instead of starting from this position, I'm going to start from my ending position of 1. So 1 started here. 2 will actually start from this position. So on my right side, again, same stomp. Some systems will put their whole hand here, some 3 fingers, some 2 fingers. I was always taught 2 fingers, so that's what I do. But really, any of those is fine. I'm just getting used to my hands being able to move around and kind of snap up from down here. I'll stomp. I'm punching down. That's Juru number 2. Everything from that point on will come off of those 2 Jurus. And I'm going to explain what each of these does a little bit as we go, and a lot more at the end. So, just to kind of cover what Juru 1 and 2 are doing. From this position, I step out, I'm grabbing the head, and I'm smashing into the side of the head. Pulling my arm back, and then throwing an elbow to the side of the head. My hand will come up, and this is passing a punch or blocking. Pulling down, punching. Notice that my arm is kind of in this bent position as I'm punching out, because this is a close range system. I don't have the distance to really extend out. If I'm extending out, I'm going into a completely different martial arts system that's going to work better for those long ranges. For the short range, I'm punching, and my arm is kind of bent. My knuckles, my hand is still facing my opponent. My hand isn't bent, just my arm. I pass, do the block, and same thing with the other side. One more time. You'd be amazed at how often I get that head smash and elbow into a match, into a fight as I'm sparring. I can't just lead off with that. I can't just step in and grab. But a lot of times what I'll do is I'll fake low, and my body sinks low, because again, I'm in a system that focuses on being very low and moving in forward into a leverage position. I'll sink low and punch. As my opponent blocks down or lowers his guard to defend low, I'll come back up high, grab the head, and hit this way. Now, this can also be done against a punch. If I've got an opponent that's punching at me, I can smash their hand. You'd be amazed at how well that works. Try that as you're sparring, especially if you've got big gloves on as the person's punching at your face and you're moving around. It's incredibly easy to smash that hand or to smash that hand here. You'll see this a lot in many of the Silat systems, where they guide the hand that's punching at them into that elbow. And you'll see some more of that in some of the later Jurus that we do. All right, so that's Juru number 1. Juru number 2, what are we doing here? I start from here, I stomp. As a person kicks in at me, I'm punching their foot. Not their leg, not their shin, but the top of their foot. I'll step out and do an upward gunting. A gunting is a scissors motion, so I can do a gunting inside, outside, down, up. So I've got a lot of different types of scissors motions, but I'm hitting with the knuckles into the meaty part of the arm or even of the forearm, but I'm hitting for those nerves if I can get them. So I'm hitting up, using my knuckles under the arm as they punch in. I guide the punch over, hit up. From here I come around and drop. Now, traditionally they say this is also a technique that's used for grappling. If somebody's trying to rush in and tackle me, I can drop my arm down, catch their head, and kind of snap or jolt their neck as I lift it up and then hit to the back of the head. Possibly, but I find what works better is after I hit here, is my arm drops and gets my opponent thinking that I'm going low. They see something going low, and then I come back high again, this way. So here, 1, 2, or 1, 2. So I'm up, coming around, and then hitting high. From here, they call this a hidden fist. My fist is hidden behind my hand. It will circle under and punch back. Now, anybody that doesn't realize that your fist is behind your hand like this, you should not be fighting them. They should be in a hospital someplace. So, from here, really, I'm just coming away from all of the junk that's right here. I've got their arm here, my hand is here. There's just a lot of stuff right here. I'm not going to be able to punch the person easily. So, I guide their hand down. I've got hold of their wrist or their arm as I hit. When you hit these muscles in here, a lot of times their arm will go numb and maybe even dead. It won't move well. So you'll still have hold of that hand. I'll come back around and back fist to the face. As I do that, my last punch with the same hand will follow under into the face. I could follow to the throat. I could come here. I could even follow low into the solar plexus or even the groin. So it's just the motion, and then I come back to the other side. Then I do the same thing on the other side. Hit, upward gunting, break, back fist, punch, pull back, pass, punch on the other side. As I come up to my cat stance now, my hands will come back up to my first position on my Juru number 1. Let's work those.